Hiya, Kellen, Kash here. Let me break this bond game down so simple you can explain it at the barbershop, church, family reunion, or business meeting, and everybody understands what is happening with their money. A bond is an IOU with interest attached. You hand the government or a company $1,000. They tell you, we are going to pay you $60 every year, then return your $1,000 when the bond matures. That is a 6% bond. Straight business. No magic, no secret handshake. You loan them money and they agreed to pay you for using it. Here is the rule you need to remember. Interest rates go down, bond prices go up. Interest rates go up, bond prices go down. They move opposite. Now, let me show you why. You own that $1,000 bond paying $60 a year. Then market interest rates fall to 3%. New $1,000 bonds are only paying $30 a year, but yours is still kicking out $60. Your bond just walked into the room carrying ribs, macaroni, greens, cornbread, and peach cobbler, while those new bonds showed up with 2 crackers and a cup of tap water. Now everybody is looking at your plate. They cannot buy a new bond paying $60 for $1,000 anymore. So somebody may offer you more than $1,000 for yours, maybe $1,100, maybe $1,200. The exact price depends on how long the bond has left and when those payments arrive. But the principle is simple. Your bond became more valuable because it pays more than what the market is currently offering. The bond did not start paying more. The $60 stayed $60. What changed was how much somebody was willing to pay to own that $60 payment. That is the game. Rates fall, old higher paying bonds look better. Their prices rise. Now flip it. You own a bond paying 3% or $30 a year. New bonds come out paying 6% or $60 a year. Who is giving you the full $1,000 for your little $30 payment when they can step next door and get $60? Nobody moving with financial sense. You have to discount your bond. Maybe you sell it for $850. Now the buyer gets the $30 annual payments, the full $1,000 when the bond matures, and a $150 gain because they bought it below face value. That discount helps make up for the weaker interest payment. Rates rise, old lower paying bonds look weaker. Their prices fall. Same bond, different competition. Think about rental property. You own a house producing $2,000 a month. Then comparable houses in the neighborhood only rent for $1,300. Your house becomes more valuable because it produces more income than the alternatives. But suppose comparable houses start producing $3,000 a month while yours remains stuck at $2,000. Your house loses some shine. The house did not physically change. The rent did not change. The competition changed. That is exactly what happens with bonds. Same bond, same payment, different market. The market prices future money. A bond is a stream of future payments. The market constantly asks, how much should I pay today for the money this bond will give me later? When interest rates are low, an odd bond paying a higher rate is valuable. When interest rates are high, an old bond paying a lower rate looks soft. That is why price and yield move in opposite directions. When the bond price rises, the new buyer's effective return falls because they paid more to receive the same payments. When the bond price falls, the new buyer's effective return rises because they paid less to receive those payments. The coupon stays fixed. The purchase price changes the buyer's real return. Long-term bonds move harder. Now, here comes the grown man arithmetic. A bond paying 6% for another 30 years is affected more by rate changes than a bond maturing next year. Why? Because that 30-year bond has your money tied to yesterday's rate for decades. When rates fall, that long-term 6% payment looks beautiful. Investors may pay a serious premium for it. But when rates rise, that same long term bond can get slapped because investors are stuck receiving the old lower rate for years. That sensitivity is called duration. Higher duration generally means larger price movements when interest rates change. So when somebody tells you bonds are safe, ask safe from what? A high quality treasury bond may be extremely safe from default. That does not mean its market price cannot drop 10%, 15%, or more when rates rise sharply. Safe from default is not the same as safe from price volatility. Do not let financial vocabulary finesse you.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Thank y'all who buy the books, courses, call for services. Now let's get back to the game. Individual bonds and bond funds are different. With an individual bond, you purchase the bond and hold it until maturity. Assuming the issuer does not default, you collect the interest and receive the bond's face value at maturity. Temporary price movements may not matter if you never need to sell. The market may say your bond is worth $850 today, but you may not care if you are collecting the payments and waiting for the agreed repayment. That is stick and stay capital. A bond fund is different. A bond fund owns many bonds and continually replaces them. The fund usually does not have one maturity date when somebody hands you back your original investment. When rates rise, the fund's share price may drop. Over time, however, the fund buys newer bonds with higher yields, which can improve future income. When rates fall, the fund's price may rise, but the income from newly purchased bonds may eventually fall. That is the trade-off. Do not buy a bond fund thinking it works exactly like owning one individual bond until maturity. That misunderstanding has cost people real money. You cannot control the rates. The Federal Reserve controls certain short-term rates. It does not command every bond yield in America. The Fed can cut short-term rates while long-term treasury yields stay flat or even rise. Why? Because long-term investors are watching inflation, federal debt, government borrowing, economic growth, future interest rate expectations, and the return they require to lend money for years. So do not hear that the Fed cut rates and automatically assume every bond is about to rise. The yield on the specific type of bond you own must fall for its price to rise. That distinction separates people who understand bonds from people who just repeat headlines. Now let us get to the lifestyle lesson. Some people buy quality, understand what they own, and allow it to mature. Other people dump everything the second something newer pulls up. They do it with investments, they do it with cars, they do it with businesses, they do it with relationships. They stay excited, but never build anything long enough for compounding to show up. There is nothing wrong with upgrading when the economics justify it, but constantly chasing the newest thing is not a strategy. Sometimes that is just impatience wearing expensive clothes. The objective is not to own the newest bond. The objective is to own the right bond for your timeline, income needs, taxes, risk level, and larger wealth plan. That is capital allocation. Here are 5 moves that separate investors from spectators. First, check duration before buying. Duration estimates how sensitive the bond or bond fund may be to interest rate changes. Second, study yield to maturity, not only the coupon. The coupon is the scheduled payment. Yield to maturity better reflects the return based on the price you actually pay. Third, match maturity to your timeline. Do not put money needed next year into a long duration bond fund and then act shocked when the market price moves. Fourth, separate interest rate risk from credit risk. A financially strong issuer's bond can still decline because market rates increased. Fifth, build a bond ladder instead of trying to predict everything. Spread maturities across several years so capital regularly becomes available for spending or reinvestment at prevailing rates. Now, here is the structural blind spot. The biggest mistake is treating bonds as one category. A treasury bill, a 30-year treasury bond, a municipal bond, a high-yield corporate bond, and a total bond market fund are not the same animal. They carry different combinations of interest rate risk, inflation risk, credit risk, liquidity risk, tax treatment, and reinvestment risk. Calling all of them safe bonds is lazy thinking. Before putting serious money into any bond or bond fund, write down its yield, duration, maturity, credit quality, tax treatment, and estimated loss if market rates rise by 1%. Then explain why that bond belongs inside your larger wealth system. Not because somebody on television said rates were falling, not because the fund had a good year, not because everybody else is buying it, because it serves a specific purpose in an ownership strategy you understand. You cannot control interest rates. You can control the structure of your capital. That is the difference between somebody holding investments and somebody building wealth. This is not financial advice, but game you can use and verify. I am not a financial advisor, but can help you choose the right CFP, CPA, lawyer, and create a team to make the dream come true. If you need help with your business, contact us at www.CPRFIRM.com. Links in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share this with someone. See you at the top.
Hello everyone, join us on an exciting journey with Explore the World Cameroon. London and Sydney go take you explore Cameroon, the heart of Africa. Experience the vibrant culture, nature and tradition from their own market to rainforest adventures. Every page na new discovery. Join the Cameroonian food, and the wildlife with our explorers. This book na true celebration of Cameroon spirit. Get your copy now. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and through your library and bookstore. They are in Grand Park. Don't miss this adventure.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen, Kash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.